Thank you for tuning in once again to his Vine and Victory podcast. My name is Kurt Olson. I'm your host. I'm coming to you on the early afternoon of July 16, 2025. And I'm doing an episode here that is kind of a stolen idea. Um, One of the sites that I frequent is from Town Hall Media, PJ Media. And one of their writers recently did a list of the 25 most influential conservatives of the past 25 years. And I want to do a variation of that, give you my list. My list is not sacred. Um, People can add and adjust names in any list that they would have. But there are three things missing from that list or with his list that are not a part of mine. You will not hear Donald Trump mentioned in this list. Why? Donald Trump is leading a populist movement, not a conservative movement. Now, some of the things Donald Trump does indeed are conservative and would, for example, his peace through strength is stolen right from the handbook of Ronald Reagan. But every, Donald Trump is not a conservative. And because of that, he is not in this list, nor people like Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino. Go down the list of people who have this uh, just beholden interest to all things Trump. Um, and I say that kind of thing, and people are like going, "Oh, why are you saying that?" Well, Donald Trump isn't a conservative in my book, which is why he didn't make this list. The other thing that I had an issue with the writer who produced the other list, there was only one female in that list, and that was the wife of a casino owner who has since died, and obviously she's got his fortune, and they're big funders of Republican stuff. That was the only female in the entire list, which I had a problem with. So as I start my list, you will notice I do have some females in this list, but I'm going to start with the first president of the millennia, or the century, uh, George W. Bush. George W. Bush is number 25 for the main reason that compassionate conservatism was code for growing government. No Child Left Behind, Medicare Part D, two wars on a credit card. The list could go on. The Patriot Act, um, and he is 25 for those reasons. Number 24, Samuel Alito, the current Supreme Court Justice who is part of the conservative majority. Um, he's a clear headed jurist who brings not just common sense, but strong legal reasoning to his writings. And there are two other Supreme Court justices here. I put Alito at number 24. Number 23, Walter Williams. Walter Williams was a longtime economist. He was a political commentator, economic historian, that kind of thing. He was from George Mason University. Um, he comes in at 23. 22, Cheryl Atkinson. And some people are saying, well, who is that? Cheryl Atkinson is the uh, journalist who, when she was at CBS News, broke the Fast and Furious scandal wide open with her diligent reporting on it. The Fast and Furious scandal in the Obama administration was the gun running operation in Mexico that was being done by the DOJ and aspects, groups connected to the DOJ. It led to the censure of Eric Holder at the time. So she ultimately would have her computers hacked by the Obama administration, or she believes hacked by Team Obama. A lawsuit I believe she's still trying to fight, and or a lawsuit she's still trying to press and win. And she has started the Full Measure News. And for that, she comes in at number 22. 21, Scott Walker. Scott Walker, the former governor of the state of Wisconsin, ran for president in 2016 and frankly was my top candidate to be president of the United States in 2016. Obviously, that did not happen. He wasn't even named to Trump's first administration. He would have been wise in pardon me, he would have been wise in naming Scott Walker. Scott Walker, since that time, has been dealing with the Young America's Foundation, doing a lot of things with the conservative movement with young adults, and he is single-handedly responsible for making Wisconsin a battleground state. So he comes in at number 21. Number 20 is two people, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. Ted Cruz, a current senator from Texas. Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State under President Trump, and was a U.S. Senator from the state of Florida. They're both, I'm going to let that kind of sit for themselves because it speaks for themselves. Number 19, Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines deserves mention in 25 most influential conservatives of the past 25 years because she has been waging a battle across America to save girls and women's sports. Number 18, Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire. Not always a fan of his, but he did produce What is a Woman? He did another documentary on racism. Am I a Racist? Um, those had appeal for obvious reasons. He comes in at number 18. Number 17 is James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe is the trailblazing journalist who uses undercover video to nab a variety of people. He's dealt with bureaucrats in Washington. He's dealt with people in the election system. He has dealt with people in immigration. He's dealt with things in a variety of areas, and he comes in at number 17. 16 is Charles Krauthammer. Charles Krauthammer, um, when he was alive, I listened to him. He had some conservative ideals, but he was not pro-life. And he was influential in a lot of different ways while he was living. And it's why he makes the list. But he is placed higher in the list because, or lower in the list, simply because he was not pro-life. Number six, so Krauthammer 16, 15 is Pat Buchanan. Pat Buchanan served for Nixon and Reagan, and he was a person who um, single-handedly made the immigration issue an issue that demanded attention. He was writing about it and commenting on it and talking about it in the 1990s. Um, this thing has come to the surface in the 2000s, and it's been with us ever since. And Pat Buchanan makes the list at number 15. Number 14, Rupert Murdoch, the person who currently owns or previously owned, I don't know how the chain is now at Fox News, but he was instrumental in starting them. Number 13 is Antonin Scalia. Antonin Scalia would be closer to number one if he were alive, but he's not, which is giving him number 13. I could have shuffled these numbers and put him higher, but Antonin Scalia makes this list because he was an influential conservative jurist for what, close to 2 decades, and his impact is still being felt. Number So he's 13. Number 12 is Kristen Hawkins. Kristen Hawkins is the head of Students for Life of America. Um, there is a pro-life generation that is emerging. I am convinced of it. Some of the chatter we're hearing about abortion and other things since the Dobbs decision would make people think, "Oh, Olson, you're crazy. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about." Um, but Kristen Hawkins is instrumental in pushing the pro-life cause on college campuses across this country, and not just Christian colleges. And she makes the list at number 12. Number 11 is Cal Thomas, a nationally syndicated columnist who I have met. And I don't say that to name drop. I just say that because he has had an impact as being a nationally syndicated columnist in what, 600 papers across the country, or is it closer to 700? His impact was felt even in broadcast media for a spell. He's an author of books. He was involved in the Moral Majority before he transitioned to full journalism. Um, his impact is legitimate. Number 10, the Koch family. Um, KOCH. People will run across this name, and when progressives and liberals mention the Koch family, their hair lights on fire. But the Koch family is one of the very well-to-do families, right of center. Um, they're wealthy, and they have funded many things right of center, and that's why they make this list. At number 9, Franklin Graham. Um, Franklin Graham makes this list because he's basically carried on the legacy of his father, Billy Graham. Um, Franklin Graham was also instrumental in the establishment of Samaritan's Purse, one of the most premier disaster relief organizations in the country. And he does a variety of other things, speaking around the country and the world. And he comes in at number 9. Number 8, Dennis Prager. Dennis Prager, people who are familiar with Prager University, that is where Dennis Prager is the founder of that. This is the group that has the kids that will emerge either on college campuses or out in public somewhere, ask questions that are basically historical, and these people are embarrass themselves in these viral videos. That isn't the only thing they do. They have a multitude of other resources and other things that they do provide for the conservative movement. And it's one of the reasons Dennis Prager comes in at number 8. Number 7, Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck arrived on the scene in the 2000s. Um, he was a radio talk show host. Um, Arrived on the scene, did some things with Fox News, and he has his own right of center media organization, The Blaze. And I mean, I can disagree with his Mormon faith, but acknowledge the fact that he has had a lasting impact on the conservative movement, especially in the last probably 10 to 15 years, significantly. Number 6, Ben Shapiro. He of the Daily Wire, the most prominent face and voice of the Daily Wire. He is been a political commentator for a long time. He has been on college campuses for a long time and challenging the things that are being pushed on progressive college campuses. And he has been influencing young people for a long time. And that's why Ben Shapiro comes in at number 6. Number 5, Andrew Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart is a guy who died way too young, established Breitbart.com, other things he was involved in, and just talking about culture and its impact on politics. And he coined the phrase, politics is downstream from culture. So Andrew Breitbart said that. Andrew Breitbart is just while he was alive, was a major influencer, especially of young people. And he comes in at number 5. Number 4, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. Ron DeSantis has basically rewritten the book on effective leadership at the state level. Is the man flawless? Absolutely not. Um, but I am of the opinion that he deserved to be the nominee in 2024. The American right of center voters didn't agree with me. I can live with that. And he comes in at number 4. Number 3, Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is a guy who, Harvard educated, spent time at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University. He's an economist, an economic historian, a political commentator, and his common sense and understanding of not just human nature, but economics, clear headed in every way. That's one of the reasons he is so high on this list of mine. Number 2 is Clarence Thomas. He is the third, along with Samuel Alito and the late Antonin Scalia, other jurists who have been influencers of the past 25 years. Clarence Thomas, Antonin Scalia may have been in this spot, but because Clarence Thomas is still on the court, still alive, he makes this list and just clear-headed in every way. It brings incredible understanding of the law to the decisions that he is involved in writing, whether it is for the majority or a dissent, and he just deserves all of the accolades that people toss his way, right of center, because he's established himself a long time. And the number one influencer, conservative influencer, the past 25 years is Rush Limbaugh. Um, Rush Limbaugh is a guy who I know when he used various phrases on his show for humor, the left, they would just get incensed over it. But Rush Limbaugh was a guy who um, boldly communicated conservative ideals, boldly communicated a strong grasp of human nature and how your political philosophy fits into that. This guy was also extremely charitable. Every Thanksgiving, he had a time of giving for to a specific organization, and to this moment in time, I forget which one it was, but he did that every Thanksgiving. Um, his death, while not necessarily a surprise, certainly was an impact on the conservative movement in this country, because he would still be terrorizing the left to this day if he was alive. Um, so that is my list of the top 25 uh, conservatives of the past 25 years. Um, I'm going to do a couple other lists at some other time. Um, and again, there are some names here that can be taken away or added. Um, and you will notice I not only don't have Dick Cheney in this list, um, of course, because he's connected to MAGA, no JD Vance either. So that is my list of the top 25 most influential conservatives in the past 25 years. As always, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube. I have a fresh column dropping on Sunday. For those who listen and share regularly, thank you for doing so. And until next time, God bless and goodbye.